Welcome to March Spectrum content. This month I want to focus on sketching and ideation, so creating new ideas quickly and creating variations of those ideas so that you can just write tracks really fast. I've got a sample that I got off Spotify. Sounds really nice. I want to write a drum and bass track at 174 BPM. It's not in time. It's not far off. I could probably time stretch this, but I'm not going to because we can fix this later basically. So I'm going to create a new Midi track. Shift Command T to create that. I'm going to go into Ableton's Instruments and find the Simpler plugin and just drag that on there. And then I'm going to drag this sample onto the Simpler. And I'm going to select Slice Mode in Simpler. Now in Slice Mode, you can change the sensitivity, which will change the amount of slices that it slices this audio into. And that's going to be important because we're going to be able to play these slices using the keyboard. If you don't have a MIDI keyboard plugged in, make sure that you've got this little keyboard sign up here. Make sure that's on, and then you'll be able to play it with your keyboard. Let's try that. See, it's getting stuck on the first start point. Okay. You can actually move these slices independently as well. And I'm just going to cycle through the keys just to make sure that everything's sounding right. Okay, that one started a little bit late or early. I'm going to just move these transients a little bit ahead of the actual sound so that it catches the entirety of it. You can see here, it's kind of starting a little bit later, and that's going to chop off that beginning bit. Okay, so this sample is definitely going to be an issue in terms of time, making it sound right with the tempo. Probably want this one to be active. Let's play with the sensitivity a little bit. There we go, just moved it up a little bit. The start of this one as well is a little bit clippy. Okay, cool, that should do. I'm not too worried about this stuff at the end. So I've got mono playback selected here, which means that the samples will cut each other off, and I find that really useful because when you're creating phrases, you don't want to have too much cluttering going on. You want everything to be separated. It keeps the ideas really focused, and it allows you to do really nice kind of cut-offs that imply rhythm. So before we start, we could write this to a metronome by just turning on the metronome and writing it to that. In fact, let's just close that. We could write it to a metronome, but it's just not really a vibe. And I want to add some of my own sounds in here. I find adding a drum loop to be quite a nice way of getting that initial vibe. Keeps me in the zone. Okay, I like this drum beat here. Let's just chuck that down here. Duplicate it a few times and set that as a loop. To make sure also in your settings that your buffer size is relatively low so that you're not having an input latency, which will make it really hard to play in time with the beat. Okay, so now that we've got the drum beat in here, we can play over the top of it. Because my latency is pretty bad, I'm not going to do that. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to turn on this gate here. And that means that as long as the MIDI note is on, it will play. As soon as you let go of the key or the MIDI note stops being received, it will stop the sample. So that sounds like this. See, if it's in trigger, it will just play it all the way through. Gate's really good for creating your own cutoffs and having a bit more control over the samples and content. So now I can play through it. Everything starts at C1. Okay, cool. And you can just draw in the notes. We'll hit it a bit earlier. That a bit longer. Might be nice to just have this elongate even a bit longer. Nice, something like that. Just a rough idea for now. And then have a change on that last one. A bit of a stutter on that last one. Let's have a look. And that's just where that start point is, so we can move that in a bit, should clean it up. Great, that's sounding pretty good. There we go, we've got our first melody. We can turn things up a bit. Let's turn up the volume of this entire thing.